Yeah, I wrote a list. It's just bullet points. And by the end, I think the last point I wrote was, that was an hour of my life I won't get back. Matt Smith is still a 10 out of 10 fitty.
Okay, good. It's been so long since I've done this, so I'm going to have to do a really awkward intro. I'm really crap at the intros as well.
Have you got a song that you sing? Like a jingle?
No, I'll put one in. So don't worry.
So you don't have to do it live?
No. No live singing.
Doctor,
give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hi, welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, the world's most awkward Doctor Who podcast, where I bring on friends of mine who hate Doctor Who and I try and convince them otherwise by finding the perfect episode. So today I have another poor, unwilling friend, not unwilling, willing but unsuspecting friend, Beth. How you doing, Beth?
I've been better. No, I'm fine.
So, Beth, tell us about yourself. No, I'm kidding.
I suddenly feel like I'm being interviewed for a job that I don't want.
So, Beth, how do we know each other? I mean, okay.
We used to work together.
We used to work together. Yeah,
That's a nice way of putting it.
We worked in a little off. No, what was it like? Like a hot desk in office place.
Yeah, pretty modern, very nice.
Do you know what's so weird?
Actually, quite a cool place to work.
Facebook memories came up today with a Christmas tree that you'd made in the office. You'd decorated, and at the top of the Christmas tree, you'd cut out a passport photo of me as a shape of a star.
Yeah, and you know they had that because I was still friends with one of the girls that after I left. I was still friends with one of the girls for ages, and she would send me a photo of it every now and then. Picture of you.
The star.
Yeah.
I'd completely forgotten about that entirely. But yeah, so there's a little Christmas tree and there's a little star. But because it's a passport photo, my face looks really miserable.
That'll have been an accurate depiction. No, you weren't the one that was suffering with clinical depression at the time. That was me.
Well, we can all... That's a big laugh.
Merry Christmas.
But one thing that did come across when we worked together, because I remember it was 2013.
Oh, wow.
That was 6 years ago. But yeah, 2013. But I remember... You must have slagged me off. Because that was the year that there was the big 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. And every couple of days there'd be like an announcement or a poster or a trailer or something. And I'd get really excited. See,
now that's passed me by entirely because I probably filed that in not worth remembering.
Yeah, that's fair. Whereas
for you, that was big news. Yeah, exactly.
Big news for
me, I would have been like, yeah, Richie's on that Doctor Who shit again.
Remember the John Lewis advert came out?
Oh, right, now I do remember this. I remember that because it was the bear in the hair. And
so it wasn't the first
song
one.
Was Lily Allen.
Do you remember? Oh God, I can't remember specifics of John Lewis advert. See, this is
exactly. That's stuff that you felt in not worth remembering. And for me, that
bear in the
stuck
hair.
out
What was the story of the bear in the hair?
The bear went and hibernated, and then every year he missed Christmas, and he was the hare's best mate. Oh God, it was really sad.
Right.
They've never hit those peaks again. And then the hare bought him an alarm clock, so he got to join in on Christmas Day.
Oh, because the bear was hibernating. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Lily Allen was singing something actually quite good. It was a Keane song. I guess that's subjective, but like it sounded quite good.
Okay, good. But I remember...
Somewhere Only We Know. Oh God, yeah. But see?
Oh yeah.
My memory.
I'm a wee bit more open and tolerant to other people's likes. Obviously I was a bit more of a dick back then, but I do remember I was in the full on it's a fucking advert brigade. Get a grip, it's a fucking advert. But then of course the trailer for Doctor Who came out and I got really excited, and that was your moment.
Well, see, I feel like my opinions have developed since then because it's turning into a therapy session. No, in fact I can't say that. Never mind. My cousin married an arsehole that was really strongly opinionated about music.
Oh.
And then I basically decided that there's just absolutely no place in society for people to be like TV or music snobs. So I think since 6 years ago, I've developed in my opinions, and maybe wouldn't rip you as hard. Like, I mean, it's obviously a good programme because hundreds of folk watch it. It's just not my cup of tea.
This is the thing I love about this podcast, that everyone comes on and is really polite about it. And like everyone, a lot of people like really do, like they'll watch it and they go, I enjoyed it. So like, but I've had a few people say to me like, no, you need to get someone on who's like just hates it.
Do you know, I don't want to hate it.
No, I know.
Hi, where are you going? I thought we was just getting acquainted.
Okay, so when we do this, what I try to do is I try to find an episode, because Doctor Who's been going for 56 years at this point, right? So you can imagine there's loads of episodes. So you tell me your interests, and then I have to try and figure out what, like, at least one episode that you're going to like.
Yeah.
Now, of course, because we made this a Christmas episode, that kind of narrowed it down a wee bit. But I thought you like Christmas.
I love Christmas. But
So-
we should also tell the good people at home that I'd filled in this list last year.
So that's the other thing I was going to make. We were going to record this last year. I'm sure nobody will remember, but I did mention online that I was going to do a Christmas episode, and then it just never happened. And that's because my car broke down and I just flat out couldn't get to you.
I feel like you were in that period of your life when nothing made you happy.
Oh yeah, there was that as well. Yeah,
like you nothing made you happy, and your car just kept breaking down. Like
that was actually the
repeatedly.
Christmas that the car broke down at the same time as that the shower had been ripped out the bathroom and it wasn't going to be replaced for about
Yes.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
So it was a rough month.
that
so
happened to you, and I was newly pregnant, and
yeah,
I
that
couldn't
was
get
it.
through like
Yeah.
more than 10 minutes. Remember my own name. Never mind watching an episode of a program I didn't watch.
God, I can't imagine.
But I was going to do it for you, and then
I know you were.
when you cancelled, I was like, "Thank you, Lord."
Incredibly nice of you, but yeah, I think like yeah. But then I thought, I was like, I'll catch up with Beth in the new year. It doesn't have to be a Christmas one, and then of course a whole year's now passed.
Yeah.
I was like, well, may as well just stick with the same notes. But okay, so 1 year ago, I sent you a little questionnaire. So the good thing about this is Beth's completely forgotten, and I'm sure as everyone's top fives. Like,
Yeah, was it top
nobody has a
five?
solid top five really, but I asked you for your top 5 films and top 5 TV shows.
Oh
right?
wow. Oh,
So,
I want to guess what they were.
what do you think your number 1 is?
Oh fuck, I've got no idea. I think I could probably take a stab at like 5 of my faves, but
Okay, do you want me just to run through them?
I feel like The Crown is in there somewhere for TV.
It's not.
Shut up. Oh god, I've got EastEnders.
Okay, I'm going to start with the films. I'll start with the films, right? So your top 5 films are P.S. I Love You.
Oh god, yeah, it's a good. I'll stand by that.
It's number one.
It's a good film.
I'm not sure they're in any particular order, but they might be. Number 2, you put Harry Potter 1 to 3.
Yeah, right. The good Harry Potters. My husband would disagree. He would say they're the bad Harry Potters, but I like.
I haven't seen all of them. I've only seen up to number 4, but I certainly thought 3 and 4 were better than 1 and 2.
Yeah, I like the innocence of.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
I mean, that, like, I think always reminds me of Christmas.
Exactly.
Okay, so Harry Potter 1 to 3 is number 2. Let's count that as one big film. Number 3, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I really, really like that film.
that's fun. I'm not. I thought it was unusual.
But now I can't remember if it's The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises.
The one with the Joker is The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, cool.
Big fan.
Okay, good. Number 4, Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Good choice.
yeah. It's a great film.
Number 5.
Trainspotting. No? You're kidding. Those are like the 5 films I've ever watched. Literally. Apart from the other Harry Potters.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so number 5 is The Jungle Book, and you put in brackets Disney original.
Oh, right, yeah, on VCR. Like the
I
proper.
mean, specifically, you have to watch it on VCR.
Yeah, you've got to put the tape in.
That's fine. Do you know when I was a kid, actually, I never saw The Jungle Book for years, but I had a Disney sing-along tape that had all the songs on it.
I'm the king of the swingers, yeah.
Yeah, well,
The Jungle VR. It's a great film.
I've not seen the...
No, me neither.
Oh, okay.
The new one.
Mm-hmm.
No, me neither. I'd rather just watch. Like, and also, the thing about me, I don't like a very long film.
Okay.
And, like, the new ones that Disney are doing are like huge, whereas
Really?
well, I don't know. I'm assuming if they're putting them in the cinemas, like all films are long these days. Whereas the ones that you used to get on tape when you were a kid.
They'd be about 90 minutes. So when you say
Not
really...
even. They were like short films because they were designed for babies.
Okay, so when you're saying like really long, you mean like 2 hours?
Yeah.
Like a standard film length?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I see like running time over 120 minutes, I'm like, oh God.
I mean, that's like the weeknight film is always like, because me and so I've got a couple of pals I do a film podcast with, and we talk about the 90-minute film being the sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll watch a bad film if it's 90 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, but it's always good for the weeknight as well.
Yeah.
The weeknight film.
I was quite upset when I sat down last night to watch, what was it called? The Snowmen. The Snowman?
Snowmen, I think. Aye.
Well, they're plural, so yeah, it probably is. And it was an hour long, and all the episodes around it were 44 minutes. And I was like, I've got an extra 15 minutes of this.
You've got off light because you've got the shortest one so far.
You're kidding.
Yeah, everyone's had 90 minutes.
90 minutes? Oh no, Rich. I'm so glad because I've got a 5-month-old baby, and by the time we got to the end of that, I was like, I should be in my bed.
Okay, good. Okay, so I did all right then. Okay, so that was your top 5 films. Top 5 TV shows?
EastEnders.
EastEnders is number 1.
I stand by that. That is a
Okay.
hill that I will die on.
Right,
I love
that's
that
fine.
show.
Cool. Number 2, Great British Bake Off.
Oh, stand by that too. Don't tell me you don't like that.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's not something that I'll
It's not
go out
top
my
5.
way to watch.
There was a while when Jamie said that the Great British Bake Off was his favourite TV show.
My problem, I do enjoy it. I love to be honest, from a technical point of view, I really like how it's put together. But one thing that really, this is going to sound really bad, but one thing that annoys me is that when I see cakes on TV that are really good and I can't eat them, it just frustrates me. Sometimes I'm like watching it making biting motions with my mouth because I'm like, I can't eat those cakes. It's really distressing me.
I know what you mean.
So,
I do know what you mean. And there's like an aspect of like this series wasn't particularly good, and I'm wondering now if maybe it's just like.
Right. Did you watch the Junior one? We watched a couple of episodes of
Absolutely not.
Junior. It was really sweet though because they're in no way as harsh.
Yeah, see, and I can't. It's like Junior
Some of the
MasterChef.
kids
Remember
are
they
like
used to
really
do that?
supportive of each other.
Oh no,
But no, I've not seen Junior MasterChef.
it's not for me.
Number 3, Friends.
Oh yeah, wow! Oh my god! I mean, people hate Friends. Like, like I don't understand how you can have that much hatred.
People, I mean, Friends is one of those shows. Like, obviously, people love it. But you're right. I think the more that people love something, the more that people are going to hate it.
Yeah, like, and I
The
feel
more
like some
something-
people just hate Friends to be cool. Like, oh, Friends, no, I've never seen an episode. Fuck off. Everybody's like seen an episode by osmosis at this point. Nobody can claim to never have seen. And they're like, I don't even know who the characters are. No, that's bullshit as well. Like,
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I mean, I'm not keen on Friends, but when it was on, I watched loads of it. But
yeah. Like at least one of us went to school. Like at least all of us went to school with at least one girl named Phoebe. Well, probably not you because you were older than.
there was a single Phoebe. There wasn't a single Phoebe.
Yeah,
oh, I
but,
see.
like,
Right.
I'm younger than you. And like when I went to school, there was always a Phoebe cutting about, and she was just because of Phoebe.
Surely not named after Phoebe. You're not that much younger than me, Beth.
I'm like 5 years and a bit younger than you.
You are younger than 5 years. How old are you?
28.
28. So you're 8 years.
Oh, that makes me feel great.
Number 4, Scrubs.
Yeah, still like I haven't watched an episode.
You know what? I see when I was on study leave during uni, someone bought my flatmate like 4 or 5 Scrubs box sets for his birthday.
Was he a big fan already, or were they
He
just
was a
trying to
big
get him
fan
into it?
already, but he tanned all of them, and it was like, see when you're sitting like just trying to absorb notes, and
The theme
you
tune's
that
super.
fucking theme tune.
Yeah.
Oh my god, every 20 minutes. Also, I really don't like Zach Braff. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I can understand why, but I'm again big fan of Zach Braff.
Okay.
10 out of 10 Faye.
Okay, so and number 5, anything with animals.
I was clearly so over this bullshit by that
It's so
point.
funny that it's like you've given me like. It's so funny that two of your 5 programs are factual, which gives me so little to go on. It's hilarious.
I should have said The Crown. In fact, I think I texted you after that to be like, The Crown.
I think The Crown. You probably mentioned The Crown.
Yeah, because then Matt Smith came on.
Matt Smith. Okay, so but I asked you about doctors, and you said you like David Tennant only because I like him in other stuff.
True.
Okay. I asked you mad scientists or aliens. You said scientists. I fucking hate aliens.
I fucking hate aliens. Oh, I fucking hate aliens. Why does that woman just have a snake face? And the man that looks like a thumb and nobody's mentioning it.
Okay. And I said, what would your doctor outfit be? Scrubs and a stethoscope, Crocs.
Is that what I said? Oh, because I'm a doctor.
Do doctors wear Crocs, or did you throw that in for a bit of a quirk?
No, I think doctors wear Crocs. Okay. Yeah, doctors wear Crocs. Oh, that took me a while to get. I must have thought I was being funny.
Hello, Richie and Beth. It's Mark and Ben here from On the Time.
Hello. Hi, Richie. Hi, Beth.
So, Ben, the Doctor Who story that Richie has chosen for Beth to watch in this festive season
Yeah.
is 2012's The Snowmen,
Okay, that is interesting.
isn't it?
That is...
Because
that's-
my immediate thought was it features a Cockney barmaid who is in a sort of a love triangle with a rich man and a kind of slightly kooky character. She falls off a roof and dies quite tragically. I mean, that's an EastEnders Christmas special plot right there, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So that's an element. I think he's got it quite right. Obviously, the mad scientist part. You've got Richard E. Grant, terrific as Professor Simeon.
Yeah, okay, that's a good choice. I like that. Yeah, if she likes the Harry Potter films, there is something both... I don't mean childish in a derogatory way, but those earlier films are definitely a bit more, kind of immature. Definitely more childish, but dark as well.
Yeah,
there's a good mix in the Snowmen. That's very like that. So yeah, that is a good choice. That is a very good choice.
Yeah, it also strikes me that Stephen Moffat's kind of approach to Victorian London, certainly here, is a lot more kind of magical and fantastical in the kind of way of your kind of Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. And I mean, I mentioned Mary Poppins when I talk about it, but there is something very Harry Potter about that kind of alleyway where the Doctor and Clara first meet.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite feel like it's London. You know what I mean?
What it feels like is the London sets from the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like the Doctor and Clara are having a chat, and then they move on, and then Kermit the Frog has an ice skating competition with some rats on the way home one day. That's what it feels like. People, I genuinely think that people's attitudes to the Victorian period is guided by some version of A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Either the book, everyone thinks the Victorian stuff is haunted because that's all about ghosts and a guy being visited by ghosts, and then every time they update, whatever the zeitgeist update of that story is, that's how people perceive that period of time. That's how people reflect that period of time when they're broadcasting it somewhere else. And yeah, there's a magic to the Snowmen, which is very Harry Potter, but it's also very Muppets Christmas Carol, isn't it?
So yeah, I hope Beth enjoys the Snowmen and it opens her heart and her mind to Doctor Who in general. And Merry Christmas to Richie, to Beth.
And to all of you at home, Merry Christmas.
So so looking through your list, I kind of zoomed in on Harry Potter a little bit. and obviously
Because I liked all three of the films.
Matt Smith, and like I feel like the Matt Smith definitely around at that period was taking a lot of like, I think they were trying to bait America a little bit, and I feel like that a lot of the fantasy stuff from that era was taken a lot from stuff like Harry Potter. And Christmas episodes tend to be a wee bit wobbly, a bit dodgy, so I went for one that I liked and went for the Snowmen.
But they just kept saying winter's coming.
Oh God, I know.
And
I
was like,
forgot about that.
this?
I forgot about that, and I watched it this morning. I was like, "Ooh, there's always something that makes me cringe."
And when it was released after Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Like, it's just blatantly.
I know. It's one of those phrases, isn't it? It's like you could argue, but you can't really because it was such a big.
Like,
I mean, I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
No, well, no, neither did I. Again, Jamie, huge fan.
Right.
Me would passively watch
So
it
you
if I
can't-
absolutely had to.
So what is it? You can't. Yeah, because we had a conversation about this. You can't deal with space.
Fucking hate space.
You hate space.
Hate space. I hate everything about space. I've never watched Star Wars. My dad and brother used to have Star Trek on the TV, and I know you're a big fan, all the time. And I just, even when I was like 5, I was like, this is pure bullshit. Like, all these people look like people but different. Do you really think that's what aliens look like? No. And none of them are going to speak English, are they? No.
I'm gonna give up. There's a.
No.
I'm just trying to shut up. Okay, I'll just shut up.
No.
It's one of those things where it's like they do try to explain these things, usually with little lines of dialogue just to make it work. But ultimately, it's always just like we need these things so that we can tell the story.
I know, but my
But I
argument
know
would be that
obviously
the story just shouldn't be told.
deep love of factual programming.
That's it. I'm just a stickler for the facts, apart from Harry Potter.
Right.
This is because my argument always is I don't like sci-fi of any form.
So what brought you to Harry Potter?
And Jamie's always like, well, it's Harry Potter.
I mean, it's fair. Everyone's allowed to have some. Like, you're allowed to like what you like, but like, what brought you to Harry Potter?
I think I read all the books.
This isn't me being like, come on, I found a loophole. Answer the question. But
There's a
like,
flaw in your argument. I read all the books.
you read the books when you were wee.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And then that was me. Hooked. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I like magic. I'm not sure. I don't like space. I've never liked
Well,
space.
that's kind of what I was going for. I thought there's a whole sort of magic thing going on, and I think there was like the whole Victorian London thing.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah, I was quite drawn in by that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
What, governor?
Yeah, all that.
I was like, oh yeah,
all that shit.
amazing.
Yeah. I was going for EastEnders on that one. I
Yeah.
wasn't really. I was just.
And that's where it ended. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, amazing. Oh, this is still shit.
And then a snowman pops out the ground. You're like, no.
But no, I wrote one of my first notes
Okay.
was, don't you hate that you've got to unlock your phone with Face ID now and you can't just do it on a table? Ruined Snowmen for me in the first 5 minutes.
How did they ruin snowmen? Are
got
snowmen
teeth.
now scary? Oh, I see.
Snowmen are just nice guys.
Well, that's the thing. I think one thing that Doctor Who likes to do is to take something very unassuming and everyday, and then try and make it scary because it's good, like good for the kids, you know.
Good for terrifying children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I also wrote down no Daleks.
Yeah. There's no.
There's no Daleks. I mean, at this point, I just assumed that maybe there would be a Dalek in every show, like hiding, like in a broom cupboard or something. Like you just open a cupboard to see one, and then they shut the door again. Nothing.
No Daleks. I mean, they're not. The Daleks aren't in it all the time. I think they try and kind of use them sparingly, so that when they didn't really actually. They used them all the time. But there was a funny thing that in the trailer every year they'd be like, "There's going to be Daleks," and you're like, "Of course." It's like the Daleks are back. It's like, are they? Right, okay.
But then they use them all the time, and yet still everybody from our parents' generation is absolutely petrified of them. So the effect kind of worn off.
It's
Or maybe
funny, I was
people were-
talking to... So I've been watching... This is going to sound really bad, but my girlfriend is watching it all for the first time. And we're watching it together.
Under duress.
No, she was like... Because I was watching it, she was like, I'd quite like to watch this. Let's watch it. Because she knew how much I loved it. And the thing that's amazing is that she's sincerely terrified of so much of what goes on in the show. She's like... There's been times where she's like, I might need to actually turn this off because
No.
she's genuinely like, and it's great to watch it with someone like that because by this point it's just like you get little hints of like that is when you watch something, but objectively you're like, that's quite freaky. That's good. But you're never like, oh my god, I'm so scared.
Especially when you're watching every episode for the 100th time, as I'd imagine you are at this point.
But the Daleks are just silly.
Yeah,
which is fair because they are kind of silly. But like I do remember as a kid, they did terrify me, and I think it was because they were. I think there's something. It's like the Terminator. You know how the Terminator, like you can't reason, and it's absolutely relentless.
See, I've never seen.
And it's just going to kill you. You've never seen the Terminator?
No, I know.
It's fine. Like it's fine. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. But you know, there's like when there's something scary about something that's like can't be stopped or reasoned with.
I remember Jamie saying, because he was a huge fan of a lot of Doctor Who, like there was something about like stone carvings that moved. I don't know.
Statues.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. There's something about statues that moved, and he just found it absolutely petrifying. And he's a 28-year-old man. And he, like, you know, it can't have been on that long ago. And he was like, "Oh yeah, fully terrified." We got to one of the episodes about that actually the other night. So I assume it does still have an effect.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't find the snowmen scary. You're just.
No, I was just like, why have they put teeth in snowmen?
Oh, you mean they've not ruined snowmen for you, they've just ruined snowmen in general? Just by making them...
No, they've ruined snowmen for me. I mean, that's probably an over-exaggeration. Thinking back on it now, I was very angry at the time. But, like, you know, why put teeth in snowmen? Like, snowmen are just everybody's pal. I don't know why you would do that.
To turn them into monsters.
Yeah, but why do snowmen need to be monsters? Anyway.
Because it's... Right, okay, fair enough.
We're not going to get anywhere with that.
Maybe it's snow that fell before. Maybe it remembers how to make snowmen.
What? Snow that can remember? That's silly.
What's wrong with silly?
Nothing, still talking to you, Anna.
One of my points, from a critical analysis point of view, is that there's no fucking storyline. Nothing happens.
What do you mean?
Nothing happens.
So did nothing grab you at all at any point? So like, okay, so the story about... I mean, you're coming at it completely... without context, but at the beginning of the episode, the Doctor's obviously just sad and he just wants to keep out of the way.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to get involved with anyone, and then this woman comes in and, you know, it's all... And
so he's met her before, but he's not aware at the time that he's met her before.
Yeah. Did Jamie explain that to you?
No,
you picked that up.
Thanks. Yeah, I managed to pick that up myself.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny, like... When you've just posed that to me there, I'm like, what did happen?
Now, obviously, there's a storyline, but the arc felt saggy.
I mean, the sort of his arc of warming up to being himself again.
Yeah, like it just felt a bit like, like I feel like they could have condensed it to 15 minutes.
How refreshing to see you taking an interest again. Was she nice?
I just spoke to her.
And made your usual impact, no doubt.
No impact at all. Those days are over.
You can't help yourself.
It's the same story every time, and it always begins with the same 2 words.
She'll never be able to find me again. She doesn't even have the name Doctor. What 2 words?
Doctor? Doctor Who?
He's kind of brooding and sulking and he's living on a cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, that was... I like again, right, so the deal... It's a Christmas episode, right? And the thing about the Christmas episodes is they're always a bit kind of over the top, a bit pantomimey, a bit silly.
Yeah, because, I mean, there was a lot... Like, it was like a whole Jack and the Beanstalk thing. Like...
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, pulled the ladder down, climbed up, went up all those stairs. Like, Jenna Louise Coleman, that's her name, right? Mm-hmm. She climbed down that set of spiral staircase, like set of spiral stairs, very quickly.
I mean, it'd be a lot. I mean, surely you of all people can appreciate that some of that has to be edited out.
Yeah, and there's like the like.
Annoyingly, there is a line that makes no sense to explain why it doesn't take so long. About how they look longer than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's just assume that it's Eddie.
And that and then there's the whole Scrooge bit and like Mary Poppins bit. Like it's Yeah,
they're bringing in all that sort of stuff. But again, it's like a Christmassy...
Yeah, and I get that. I just felt it all was a bit...
Right. Okay.
None of it was none of it grabbed me.
Right.
I don't know if I'm putting that across with my just monotone voice. None of it grabbed me particularly. I was angry that I didn't get to see, I wrote down how many minutes it took for me to get to see the inside of the TARDIS.
I think, yeah. So that's a new...
40 minutes in.
Yeah, the inside of the TARDIS was new. So that was the viewers. That was everyone's first time seeing the inside of the TARDIS the way
So they
it
kept
was.
you hanging on for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's how they kept everybody
Yeah.
engaged.
It's funny actually, I'm forgetting all these things, but it's, yeah, that was like, it was a big reveal, but it's always like a big reveal as the audience. You're meant to, like, the companion, so that's what they call, like, Clara's role. She's the companion, and
Yep.
the companion's kind of meant to be the audience because she asks all the questions.
Like,
that the
does it
audience
have a
is going-
kitchen?
Yeah, that was yeah. That's just the writer trying to be clever and throwing, because obviously every time they introduce the companion, they have a scene where the companion comes in and is sort of filled with wonder at this machine that's bigger on the inside, and that's why they have the line about it's smaller on the outside.
So you actually live up here on a cloud in a box?
I have done for a long time now.
Blimey, you really know how to sulk, don't you?
I'm not sulking.
You live in a box.
That's no more a box than you are a governess.
Oh, spoken like a man. You know, you're the same as all the rest. Sweet little Clara works at the Rose and Crown, ideas of other station. Well, for your information, I'm not sweet on the inside, and I'm certainly not...
It's called the TARDIS. It can travel anywhere in time and space. And it's mine.
Please. Look at it.
Go on, say it. Most people do.
Smaller on the outside.
Okay? That is a first.
Right, okay, that's semi-entertaining. No, that's good, yeah. I'm in.
That reveal is for the audience as much as it is for the character, so that's why it takes so long. The build-up takes so long.
Right. Because I was like, when am I going to get to see this TARDIS everybody's talking about?
But it is funny, like, watching it. The other thing about Christmas Day episode is a Christmas Day episode shouldn't be too held down with, like, continuity, because there's a lot of people that only watch it at Christmas.
Imagine spending an hour of your life on Christmas Day watching that.
What do you watch at Christmas Day?
Nothing.
That's okay. We usually watch films.
I see. I'm a stickler for, like, charades. Oh God, or Monopoly.
All right, okay.
Monopoly.
I mean, that's
maybe
really
not,
wholesome and nice, because I can. There's no danger. See, if I pulled out a board game on Christmas Day, my family would be like, "No."
Yeah, we'll play Scattergrays. You ever played that? Great game.
What?
Scattergrays.
Oh, Scattergrays.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not into...
So not everyone's not going to be, like, sort of full of Christmas dinner lying on the couch watching telly. I mean, that's what Christmas telly is designed for.
If I'm with my husband's family, I get forced to go for a walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's not great. I'd probably rather watch Doctor Who than that.
What about the EastEnders episode? Do you watch,
watch it and
the
catch
next
up,
day?
yeah.
Right, okay. Because that's always, like, dramatic.
Or maybe I'll watch... Yeah, you're telling me. Maybe I'll watch it when I go to bed that night.
Yeah, okay.
But no, the TV doesn't really go on Christmas Day. Which is making us sound like a super wholesome family, but people just sit and not speak. But it makes sense that episode was on Christmas Day, because I can really imagine it being on in the background. But that's about all I can imagine it being good for. Like, you turn around and, like, there's like
For it to be on and no one pay attention to it.
There's like a frame of Jenna Louise Coleman's tits at one point.
Oh God, yeah, there is.
Like, and I can imagine, you know,
there's
like...
one for the stirring dads.
Yeah, like, keep Grandpa happy. Like, and various other things that you'd look at and be like, oh yeah, it's Doctor Who, but nobody's actually going the next day and recording a fucking podcast about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And obviously, yeah, I know that people that really love Doctor Who would sit and watch it intently and make everybody else shut up, but the viewing figures, I bet, are really high, and I'd imagine like 60% of those people are just...
second or third thing watched usually. I mean, it's not on Christmas Day anymore.
Yeah, because people will be like, oh my god, yeah, Doctor Who will put that on, and then most families will just sit and talk their way through it. But the BBC still gets massive viewing figures. And there's you. Sat at home like, shh. Mum, shut up, I'm watching Doctor Who.
Silence, boy!
This is probably the most challenging one I've done.
Oh no.
No, it's good. It's really fun. But like, I'm taking a grilling. Like, so when you're like, nothing happens, I'm like, stuff does happen. There's like, snowmen and the ice governess.
I'll wait and see
came
if
out
you
the
mention
pond.
it. Yeah, she looked like she should be in Shrek. Like
Why?
the animation on her.
because she was CGI.
Yeah, she just looked like entertaining.
I guess it's
Was she
difficult
meant to be
when you have to
scary?
make like.
You're laughing and I don't know why.
Was she meant to be scary? Yeah, right, okay. So the thing is that the baddie in the episode is from like the original series, from like the 60s, and they brought it back.
The snow machine.
Well,
Or
the Great Intelligence it's called, right?
because all I could think about was that
it was a big ball of snow.
no, all I could think about was that snow machine just looked like the golden ticket machine from the Crystal Maze.
Will you start the fans, please?
Oh my god.
I was like, why is the ticket machine from the Crystal Maze the baddie? And Jamie was like, Beth, you're ruining this.
That's the funniest thing when people ask questions like that, because you have no answer, and that's why it ruins it, because you're like, you're making a good point, shut up. So the idea is that the snow is like a kind of crystals that have come from space.
The Crystal Maze.
Right?
Yeah.
And they have attached themselves to a very angry little boy.
Yeah.
And it's reflecting this angry little boy, and the little boy grows up, and its sort of anger and intelligence creates this disembodied voice,
Yeah, because
basically.
it's a reflection of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously when it snows, they're collecting the snow so they can make the snowmen, but the snow only works in the winter, so they need more of a presence. So they find this pond that this woman's died in, and they get the genetic information of the woman that died in the pond so they can create the ice lady, and the ice lady can't melt.
Yeah. I know, and everybody's cutting around that pond, tapping it like everything else thawed from last year, but this pond didn't. And I was like, why is it taking you a year to be like, this is odd?
I know, in the middle of July it's like
Yeah, this pond, it's still frozen. It's fucking 30 degrees outside. And Jenna Louise, what's her name?
Jenna Louise Coleman.
Yeah, but what's the character?
Oh, Clara
Yeah.
Oswald.
She's like, oh, it's still frozen and everything else is thawed. Yeah.
Aye, well, look, I mean, you gotta remember it's for kids as well. Like, the information
That's
needs to be.
fine if it was for kids, but it's clearly not, because there's a whole host of adults that are like, oh, I fucking love Doctor Who. And we were sitting talking about it. If it was just for kids.
I know, look, okay, I mean, I realised as I said that I was digging my own grave there, but like, I'm just saying that, it has to relay information somehow.
I know.
And it's not going to cut to July, like middle of July, it's like, why is this and then 6 months later again. So the idea is that this intelligence is trying to give itself a physical form.
Yeah.
And that was the point of the frozen lady, and they wanted to get information on that to make more of that. But she was obviously, the information came from an angry old babysitter, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if she'd like to be called a babysitter.
A governess, sorry.
Yeah. It's a real profession, Richie.
Sorry. And that, that's another monster for the episode.
Yeah, which wasn't scary, but yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I can't tell what's scary and what's not anymore. It's one of
No,
those...
I don't necessarily think it's an issue that she's not scary. She just looked weird.
Okay, but they needed to create a threat, and not so they could kill Clara again. So the idea is that this whole Clara Oswald companion story thing is that he meets her once and she dies.
Yeah.
And then he meets her again and she dies. And he's like, that's impossible. So he has to go and meet her again. And then it creates a whole story for the...
Yeah. No, Jamie, who I was watching it with, said this.
Right, okay.
At the end, he was like, so the deal is with her that she keeps dying.
Right.
And then coming back to life. And obviously at the end of the episode, you're like, well, she's back again.
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So obviously they're trying to grab you for the next series.
Yeah, okay, and I can understand that maybe if you'd watched more of it, that would grab you.
Run. Run, you clever boy. And remember, it's Christmas. Christmas Day.
Okay, let's talk about the Green Woman and the Thumb Man.
Yeah, and they just appear, like, there's just a woman, just a snake lady.
So they're recurring characters.
Oh yeah, this was explained to me afterwards. I was like, why is nobody talking about this is what I don't really like, is when you're like plonked down into the middle of a program and it all seems totally normal. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, like in any TV show, movie, whatever, like all the surroundings are completely normal, and then along comes a green-faced snake woman, and nobody, like, it's just no biggie.
It's something that just everyone just
and then
accepts.
Thumb Man appears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So they're like...
I fucking hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. Oh.
Yeah, so they're like recurring characters, but they're always in that time period. So then there's a sort of an annoying phase of Doctor Who where it keeps going back to Victorian London, basically. Oh God, your face.
I just, like, Victorian London, that really draws me in.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
but then
stepping away,
you.
loses me instantly when somebody peels back their veil and they've got a green lizard face.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I want to explain that to you, but also your face is telling me, like, please.
I don't think there's any point, Richie.
No, yeah.
Good evening. I'm a lizard woman from the dawn of time, and this is my wife.
This dwelling is under attack. Remain calm, human scum.
When I watched the episode for the podcast, there's a thing in my head, there's like a little you in my head where it's reminding me that the information that you don't have while watching it.
Yes.
So the show has all these moments, these sort of big moments that you just completely won't even have noticed, except for maybe the music building up. But like the whole bow tie thing was his moment of like, I'm back, I'm doing it again.
Right.
Because the bow tie is part of his costume. It's his
yeah,
thing.
that passed me by. And I'm wondering now really if the whole premise of this podcast is flawed because because in order to really hate Doctor Who, you probably need to have seen more episodes than I have seen. Like, I'm claiming that I hate Doctor Who, and
I know, but
on the basis of watching the episode I watched last night, I'd say that I'm right.
Yeah.
But like, can I really claim that I hate Doctor Who?
I know, but I can't.
But the episode I watched last night, I didn't appreciate it all because I didn't know about all these things. So then I'm like, nothing fucking happened and it was shite. And then you're like, yeah, but the bow tie is really significant because it means that he's back. And I'm like, oh well, that's quite nice.
But like, yeah, no, it's kind of, well, I guess I can't call the podcast I Can't Be Arsed with Doctor Who.
Fuck.
Which is what it should really be called, because a lot of people, most of the people I get on just haven't watched it for the same reasons you don't watch it. It's just like, they just look at it and go, it's not really my thing.
It's not for me.
But some people, the first guy, his wife watches it and he did just hate it. So
yeah. I've been in the room when it's been on enough times to know that I don't like it. But like, maybe I should have familiarised. Nah, I don't like it.
No, it's fine. I was
trying.
The whole point of it is like getting your perspective, like as someone who's never seen it before. But it's interesting. I think the thing that is interesting is noticing all these, how the episode just totally falls flat if you don't know these.
Super flat. That's a really good way of describing it. It fell hugely flat. Because Jamie quite enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Again, I'm sure he's seen it before, but he was like, yeah.
But is it a disconnection thing? It's like, obviously if you've got like a CGI woman made of ice chasing people, you've got no investment in that because it's not real.
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah, but then I mean, Batman isn't real.
I know, but is it because the woman's animated? Is it like like it breaks your suspension of disbelief or something? Or
yeah.
This I make myself feel bad because I feel like I'm sitting here going, why don't you like it? But it's
yeah, I know, because I should really be able to justify the reasoning, but it's just
you shouldn't really. You can just say like I'm just not into it, which is fair enough.
There was it either felt very flat, or there were the feelings that I felt were and what the fuck is that? No. Like there was never. I think I laughed like at one point something funny happened and I was like
But can you remember?
Nah.
Was it the worm or was it the... See, that's the other thing I quite like about it is like you know how they had the memory worm thing at the beginning? They always do a little thing where they introduce it really innocently and then it becomes a part of how they conclude the episode. The memory worm at the beginning.
I don't remember this.
So when they meet Clara at the beginning, he wants her to forget that he's met her.
Oh yeah, of course.
So they have a little. Yeah. They have the thing with this worm that makes you lose your memory, but it's like they make it a joke because the thumb man, as you call him, Sontaran, he keeps touching it and losing his memory, and it's like it's just a wee daft funny bit. But they do that so that you forget about it, so that when it comes back later, you go
yeah,
he's using that
like a big reveal.
Because like that's the thing about Doctor Who is like, or any sort of sci-fi, is when you create these big daft ideas that have come from nowhere and make no sense. Usually the conclusion, you have to write the rules.
Has to come back around in a wee circle.
Yeah, you have to establish rules and then you have to use them to conclude it. Does that make sense?
It does. Maybe I feel like there are 100 weight of other TV shows and movies that do that much, much better.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
It just all felt a bit like, a bit of a reach.
Okay.
Why is, I've written this down, and I really want to know, why does the TARDIS key look like it was cut in a Timpsons? Like, this thing's been cutting about the universe.
Why is it a Yale?
Why is it a Yale? Because this thing's been cutting about the universe for what? 100 million years? Some shit like that. Why has he got a Timpsons Yale for the front of it?
I mean, the key isn't really a Timpsons Yale. It's one of those things where like, if there ever was an explanation, it would just be like, it just looks like a Timpsons Yale.
Just a blank as well. They hadn't bothered planning any teeth into it.
The idea of the TARDIS was like that when it lands somewhere, it can blend into its environment by looking like something.
Yeah.
And the first place it landed was London in the 60s. And then, but anyway, in the TV show, the first place was London in the 60s. And then when it goes somewhere else, it breaks. And it's always a police box.
Right.
So maybe the key is like part of that. Because we've seen the key in the past, and it's been like a weird little sci-fi triangle shaped thing.
That's what I was expecting.
But now in the new series, they just obviously want to keep it simple. Because I think they don't want to be too like... They don't want to be too like, this is sci-fi for people like yourself, I suppose. I feel
like they should just go the whole hog. It was just, I was just like, you know, when you're like, well, can't say that I was really into it, but I was watching, and then I was like, why has he got a Yale law? Why? Like, it just tripped me clean over.
I know, there's an episode where to lock it, he puts it on the snib.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah. Like he's just popping out for milk. Nah. But
that's the thing, is like, I mean, it's just part of it's just a design thing, isn't it? It's just an aesthetic. Like, I think Doctor Who's one of those shows that you can't think about it too much. Like, they just... I know that's always the defense of a really poorly put together show, but I think it's one of those shows that, like, it goes for the moments and the imagery first and then tries to explain it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than like having to have a hard line explanation for everything. Yes. It's just like, it's all about, I mean, it is like, I know I love it and I'm so invested in it, but especially something like a Christmas episode is so fluffy and like crafted in the way it is just to be. I mean, obviously it has moments, it has big heavy moments of exploring some deep ideas, but obviously on Christmas Day, it's just a pantomime, basically.
Yeah. Just not an entertaining one.
No,
I think, I mean, maybe I'm just not the target demographic. Like,
no, that's absolutely fine. I mean, I need to clarify that I'm not sitting here trying to convince you. I'm literally just, yeah. I mean, I guess the point of the show is that like I've tried to find an episode for you, and obviously I've failed. But I think at the same time, I don't think there is one. Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
And maybe I came close. Maybe if I was ever going to come close, I think it would be with something like that.
Yeah. Well, so the episode that we watched of the new series was the one where they were burning all the witches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I found myself momentarily drawn in by that.
You know what? Like that, I remember really liking that episode until it became about weird aliens.
Yes, yeah, that's where it lost me.
It's like these tree, or I can't remember. I've not even rewatched it, but it's like some weird aliens came out the mud or something, and then it was like, I'm actually completely with you on that one because I was the same. I was like, it was almost just like I could have been a good.
Yeah.
But
maybe they just need to cut aliens out of Doctor Who. I think that's
the thing is like the very, very kind of original kind of Doctor Who was they tried to do a mix of just like here's like mad space sci-fi stuff, and here's just pure like historical was what they call them, where they go back to the past and meet some characters and some stuff would happen, but it would all be within the realm of what would, and it was kind of a big part of it was like teaching kids about different time periods and stuff.
Oh, that's a bit of me.
But like the new series, we kind of thought we were going to get a little bit of that, but then obviously, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely... that episode specifically, I remember thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. Really enjoying would have been a stretch for me. But
you were getting there.
I was sat in front of it, and I can... It's however many months later, I can remember some of the plot, so... That's a big... Given that I can barely remember what happened in the one I watched last night.
We'll need the worm.
Sir?
You'll need the what? The worm? What worm?
Don't worry, it won't hurt you, but one touch on your bare skin and you lose the last hour of your memory. Where is it?
Where's what, sir?
I sent you to get the memory worm.
Did you? When? Who's he? What are we doing here? Look, it's been snowing.
You didn't use the gauntlets, did you?
Why would I need the gauntlets? Do you want me to get the memory worm?
The whole London Underground thing, that would have you would have been watching it going, because this is the thing I've been finding interesting watching it with my girlfriend. She's like, every time something comes up that me as a fucking nerd knows immediately and gets really excited about, and she's like, what? And I'm like, and then I have to explain it to her.
Yeah, so then you're saying it's for the kids, but then the kids are like, I don't understand that.
So the kids are not like, I'm not 45 years old.
Yeah, and the rest. I wasn't alive in the 60s, so therefore...
I know, but again, there's also that thing as well, like, I think if I was a kid and I'm into something that's got a history, then I get really into it, and I'm like, I want to know everything that's... So when they make references to stuff, I'm like, what's that? And then I'll run away and look it up. Because I have the internet, you know? So maybe it's fine. That's me defending it. But as a casual viewer...
Maybe it's fine.
If as a casual viewer, maybe you'd just be like... But then I guess these things can just happen and then you just ignore it. I bet you wouldn't even thought about what was the whole London Underground thing, because you would have been sitting there going... No, you wouldn't even taken it in. You've just been like, that's a line that happened and I don't need to know.
Yeah, you just said to me the London Underground thing and I nodded at you, but in my head I was like, I don't know what he's talking about.
So he puts all the bits of the ice lady, into a tin, and it's like a London Underground lunchbox, and it's got the map of the London Underground on it. Yeah. And then when he takes it to the baddie, and he leaves it with him, even though none of it works anymore, he's left a map of the London Underground. And the 60s episode is about that thing infiltrating the London Underground.
Well,
so it's like it sets up this whole thing that it's like, and then this monster then goes on to be in the earlier episode.
Oh, see, now that's interesting.
Is it?
To me.
Okay, good. I found something. We got a hook.
that interests me. I enjoy that link.
Okay, but greatly. Again, that was a whole like. It was sort of leading into the anniversary year where they was doing loads of daft little things like that. So
yeah, it's just, but then like I enjoyed that a lot, but then how am I like, you know?
I know.
Very few people will have watched every single Doctor Who. I know
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. He's a nice guy. Very few people will have watched every single Doctor Who. I know that I'm sitting in the presence of one of them, but I don't think there's that many of you.
No, God, I've not even seen them all.
You must have.
No, I haven't. Well, I mean, I've not even seen every available one, is what I was trying to say there, because obviously there's like 100 episodes missing, but like...
Oh, obviously, there's 100, obviously, common knowledge. I mean, it probably is. I don't have
for people
that.
listening, it might
people
be,
that, yeah okay.
But it's a massive the TV and stuff and things like that.
Well, see, and I like the fact that they're weaving the web, but then, like, how you meant to know? It's a very difficult job for them. I feel bad for them. Because that's nice. I like
it's
that.
Fine. I think what they do is that they tend to only make links or references to like big iconic ones rather than, they're not going to make a reference to some
like absolutely obscure niche thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's not so bad.
I also said, the other thing that I said was that the Snowmen are Dementors.
Oh, like as in Harry Potter?
Yeah. Because he's like, don't think about stuff because they feed off your thoughts.
Is that what Dementors
And the
do?
more powerful the more powerful your thoughts are, the more powerful they get.
Because they're like a psychic, they're like a mirror.
Yeah.
So, right, okay.
And I was like, these Snowmen are just Dementors.
Is that what Dementors do?
Yeah, like they just, well...
I didn't realise how much Harry Potter bullshit had infiltrated Doctor Who at this point.
Yeah, so the Dementors basically... I can't really remember. It's just, they're the same. I wish I was better at remembering things. The Dementors, like, you have to think happy thoughts to get rid of the Dementors.
They feed off your kind of negative thoughts,
and they
basically.
just steal your soul.
Right. I guess it's kind of like that. Yeah.
I mean, that might need Google checked because I might have got that wrong, but
it's fine.
It's a really similar. Me watching, I was like, they're just fucking Dementors.
If anyone comments to fact check, I'll just ignore them. It's fine.
Oh, they will, because I'm pretty sure that's not what. No, but like it's the same vibe.
So, barmaid or governess, which is it?
That thing is after us and you want to chat?
Well, we can't chat after we've been horribly killed, can we?
I wanted to enjoy myself.
Okay.
But I just found myself feeling very flat and intermittently angry. Like,
flat's one thing, but intermittently angry.
Intermittently angry over things that probably for Doctor Who fans are just like totally fine, but for me, a Yale key, not enjoyable. Why did we have to see half a Jenna, whatever fucking name is, Clara's tits?
I don't remember. What you mean? She was doing up the...
No, he like fell on top of her, and it was like, oh, sexy.
Well, you saw half her tits then.
Well, I think
Well, there's like a sort of a bit of cleavage going on. Right.
I was like, it's a family show, guys. Like, what was it?
I mean, if I didn't notice it, then it can't have been that.
Oh, nah. Maybe was she getting changed?
There is a bit where she's getting changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one shot. There was one cleavagey shot that I did go, whoa.
Yeah. What's the need? It's a family show.
Yeah.
That annoyed me. The key annoyed me. The snake people, obviously, but that's the whole vibe of the show, so I can't really get angry at that.
The deal with the snake women is that they're the original inhabitants of Earth. They were around with the dinosaurs, and then they went to sleep.
Like the Queen.
Like the Queen, yeah.
Lizard.
Shit, that'd be a good plot. They wouldn't dare do that though.
Oh, the BBC?
Cowards.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Cowards. Yeah. And I really wanted to come in with like a really firm set of notes to absolutely
No, you made some good points. You made some good points.
I didn't even find that I had like enough substance to go on to make a really good argument about why it was not good. I just found it really underwhelming.
So what you're
like,
saying
imagine I can't imagine having been excited for a Doctor Who Christmas special for however long they trail it for, watching that and then being like, yeah, I feel really satisfied by that.
I mean, that's a whole other thing we can talk about, but that's like every Christmas. I mean, that's the problem with Doctor Who in terms of like anticipation, is that every episode tends to be about, it's like a different setting, a different set of characters, different place.
Yeah.
There's lots of different stuff going on. So every episode that you watch has this potential to be this amazing thing, maybe even your favourite. So I think with Doctor Who fans specifically, you end up with this anticipation level that when you watch it, you're like, it was alright.
It far exceeds your satisfaction level. Which is the calling card of a great show.
And then you watch it again like 6 months later or something. You're like, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, but at the time,
you accept it for what it is, and then you're just like, okay, I see what they're trying to do there, and there, and you know, instead of me going, why wasn't it the best thing ever?
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. That is that. You know, especially with the Christmas one, because the gap used to be that it would start at Easter, finish 12 weeks later.
Yep.
And then there'd be a big gap, and then there'd be the Christmas episode.
Yep.
And the Christmas episode was like a tradition. It was like,
yeah.
And then you were always waiting. There was always like, when are you going to put the trailer up? When are you going to put the trailer up? And then they put the trailer up, and you get really excited about that. And then
because that would even manage to infiltrate me. You know, I'd be like, oh, Doctor Who trailer must be coming up for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I'd maybe just assumed that because it was a Christmas special that I was watching, I was going to get like absolutely blown away, and I just wasn't. I just felt nothing.
Was there not even a slight hint? Because when I was watching it this morning, I was sitting watching it this morning, and I was eating a couple of tangerines.
Christmassy.
I even had a couple of after eights.
Had you opened your advent calendar?
I've not got one.
Stop.
I know.
Stop. Oh God.
Beth, I'm 36.
Is that what 8 years' time is going to do to me? In 8 years' time, my mummy won't buy me an advent calendar anymore.
You have a child. That child will have an advent calendar.
Yeah, but he's probably... Have you seen the size of him? He's not going to let me eat the chocolate out of it. He'll batter me. Kid's an absolute unit.
But then you'll have an excuse to have your own advent calendar.
Yeah.
But then
I'll have to buy it myself.
Like, when you eat your bit of chocolate, he'll be looking at you when you take it out.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do as a kid. You're like, you're an adult. I deserve chocolate.
I know. Oh God. And this is a whole other podcast. But my nephew's 2, and you can't eat anything without sharing it with him.
Oh really?
And it makes me angry. I'm like, oh, I've had one of them now. So
I remember that feeling as a kid though. When an adult's eating a sweet, you're like, where's mine?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should give me
I'm the
some.
child.
Yeah.
Sweets are for children.
Mm-hmm. You'll like saw into a scone, and my nephew will just start taking all of the raisins out of it with his sticky little hands.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
It's because you've touched it.
That's,
so
yeah. There's no Doctor Who this year though.
Oh well.
They stopped it at Christmas. They moved it to New Year's Day. Sorry, I was just trying to bring it back on track.
Sorry, yeah, of course. Is there a difference between Christmas and New Year's Day? No.
Of course there is. New Year's Day has a totally different energy.
It's just the same day, but one day you eat turkey and one day you eat steak pie. If you're from Scotland.
Aye, but New Year's Day comes at the end of like an incredibly long, like just
slog,
a long decadent couple of weeks, you know. And then when
because there's the gooch between Christmas and between Christmas and New Year.
The festive gooch.
The festive gooch, and you just get to chill out.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you know, when you get to New Year. And then you stay up late for New Year and all that, and it's nice. It's a really good like chilled out day, but it does have a totally different energy from Christmas Day.
And you're saying that detracts from Doctor Who, or Doctor Who not being on Christmas?
No, it's just tonally it's a different.
Okay.
Tonally it has to be different, which is fine. I guess we had it for like fucking hell. We had it for like 12 years or something.
And the one that I watched last night was one of them. I feel sad for everybody that woke up on Christmas Day 6 years ago and was like, oh, this is Doctor Who on today, I'm really excited.
That's the first thing that I think, actually, it probably was the first thing.
Yeah, exactly. I know, don't pretend that's not a thing. Woke up, was like, oh yeah, it's Christmas, great. Oh, Doctor Who will be on there. Fantastic. Sat down, watched it, and that was the episode they'd got. And then, because they're fans of the show, had to pretend that it was alright. When I think, in actuality, if you look deep inside yourself... and we're truly honest, you'd be like, it was a way to waste an hour of my life.
Because you're always watching the Christmas episode with people that haven't watched it before, you get that feeling of like, I know it can be better than this.
Yeah.
And you want to be like, it's usually better.
Like when your child's misbehaving, but in the house is an absolute dream, and then you're out and it's just being an arsehole. And you're like, oh,
it's usually so nice.
This is usually, my days are usually so much better. Please don't take this as an example of his general behaviour.
Or like when your parents walk in when you're watching the film and immediately goes to sex.
Oh God,
the whole film isn't sex.
It's not all sex, I promise. Leave the room.
Do you get that when... I'm trying to think of a TV show. EastEnders? Do you ever...
Yeah, but I don't watch TV with my parents anymore.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Oh, stand by, there's a man here.
We should maybe wrap it up anyway.
He could be delivering carpet. I don't think I've got anything else to say.
No, that's fine. Well, Beth, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, and I'm
Thanks
so
for watching
sorry.
it. No, it's okay. Like, the fact that you even watched it and put up with my requests was
Listen,
a lovely gesture.
it could have been worse. What a nice note to end.
Okay. Well, have a nice Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Richie.
Christmas, babe.
Santa!
Santa's here.